All right, guys, today's Thursday. I think it's the 19th or 20th of July. Been working, man. Working more than what I have in a while on a big flat roof. Well, call this a flat roof. It's like I guess a 412. I haven't done flat roof work in a while, which is nice, not standing on a pitch. Oh, but this is Front Row. I'm on Main Street. You can see the cinemas down there, courthouse. That's the old high school, churches. That's, I believe that's Randolph-Macon Academy right there. And then, of course, we got our 5G. Gotta love the 5G. I think that's an old water tower. It might be a silo, but no, that's got to be a water tower, old water tower. But yeah, Main Street, Front Row. But yeah, man, a lot going on. Processing a lot. I feel like I'm healing majorly. I've recently had conversation with a very good friend of mine who's actually, other than my son, has been the only one who's throughout this brain injury has engaged me in conversation, which has facilitated my healing. He's the only one that's shown me humanity, and he's the last one left in my life from my childhood. So, yeah, I've been in some deep conversations. My niece, my brother's oldest, she's 18, she just turned 18, she moved in with me. I went to go pick her up. I don't know if I've been keeping you guys updated, but yeah. So she's living with me now. She wanted to heal. My brother's environment, they were giving her no kind of safe space whatsoever to heal. In fact, it was very toxic. They were it was very passive aggressive. She wasn't supposed to move in till the end of the month. And that was planned, but she had hit me up. It was just too much. She just couldn't take it anymore. They have more kids on the way. They just keep on adding animals. It's a zoo up there, and instead of facing their shit, they just keep on adding things to love and that they think can love them, and that's going to fix their issues. And unfortunately, that's how we bring slaves into this world. But yeah, my niece, she couldn't take it anymore. She's, I'm going to speak for her very carefully. I'm not trying to project anything onto her. I'm not trying to make her something that she's not. Just speaking from my perspective of her. She deals with many different issues, all from trauma, all from not getting that attention and love as a child, always being used. She would get that love as long as she would fall into line. But my niece is very much like I am. Actually, if she sees something and she doesn't agree, if you try to tell her that it's black and she knows it's white, she's not going to shut the fuck up. And authoritarian figures do not like that. They want to tell you what it is and for you to shut the fuck up and play their game and go along. That is their method of control. So she has had a very interesting life, I guess you could say. it's her story's not mine to tell. But yes, constantly being held down, constantly being told she was wrong, constantly being told that, you know, don't do it this way, do it that way. She does it that way, and then that's not good enough. You know, those types of things. Since she's been down, I think she's been down for about 3 weeks now. But since she's been down, she has facilitated a lot of my healing. I've had a couple breakthroughs since she's come down, things I've realized about myself that were extremely apparent. But again, when you're facing things and they're right in front of you, you know, sometimes we can't see them. We're just too close to it. My niece is an extremely strong person. She has so many qualities that I admire and respect. And she hasn't sold herself out. She has not given up. She's refused to quit. And all she wants is healing. So she was supposed to move in at the end of the month. And the reason for that was because her brother was living with her mom up in New York. And he was coming to visit at the end of the month. And she wanted to be able to see him before she left, because now that she's gone, she doesn't know when the next opportunity to see him would be. And she loves her sibling dearly. She loves all her siblings dearly, but you know, her brother, I think that was the longest they had been away from each other. So it was extremely hard for her to make that decision, is what I'm trying to say, to dip out early and not say anything. Because I went up there, nobody said anything, because the situation was to the point where to say anything prior to her coming would have just jeopardized her and put her in a worse position. So, you know, it's not about these selfish adults. It's about her healing and having a safe space. And that's literally all I'm giving her, is a safe space. I'm giving her respect. She's completely at liberty. There is no forcing her to get a job. In fact, I had to talk her out of getting a job, because, you know, that was ingrained so deeply in her. And you know, anybody can work like a slave for $10 an hour. Fuck that. No, that isn't the purpose of her coming. Her purpose is to get that safe space so she can heal. And so I am creating an environment where that is allowed for her, at least until she can get her head together and start figuring out and accepting exactly who she is, without the constant oppression of slavery upon her and having to be at a fucking job, a senseless job. So yeah, but you know, again, my son, my last friend, who has been engaging me in conversations, who is also a Christian, which, you know, makes for a very interesting dynamic. Very interesting dynamic. I'll go into that later, but yes, I respect this man very much. Me and him have been through a lot over the years, and I hung it out and he hung it out, and it seems to be to the benefit of both of us. There's so many factors at play in that, and I'm just not prepared to talk any deeper on that, but that will be a conversation for later. My fasting's going good, guys. You know, I'm only doing like 16 to 20 hours a day of fasting. But when I get home, I'm still doing my garlic, ginger, onion, cayenne pepper, turmeric, lemon, and pineapple. And I'll eat that prior to eating any other fruit. I haven't had any cooked meals in a couple days. I haven't had meat in over a month, I think. Cooked meals, you know, I had said prior that my niece had made homemade pho. So, you know, I did have that a couple nights when she had first gotten down here a couple weeks ago. And then, you know, my son and her had made like just a potato dish, you know, with onion and veggies in it. And I had eaten that a few different nights as well. But yeah, so I'm off cooked food. And the reason I mention that is because, guys, cooked food sits in your gut. Your body gets nothing from cooked food. It's your parasites that are loving cooked food. And I'm mentioning this because, you know, I'm feeling a lot better. What is happening, I've been having a headache every day. This past weekend, a few days ago, you know, I think I recorded this about how sick I felt, like I was going to die or end up in an emergency room. It was, you know, it just felt like death. And that was detoxing from the parasites because I was doing heavy detox. I haven't done the ivermectin since Sunday because it makes me tired. So I am just eating highly anti-parasitic foods, and again, not eating cooked food. And the parasites, they love cooked food. They don't care what it is, they love it. The other thing parasites do, guys, is because you know, I am starving them out. They are they will make me sick. Like, they will make me have the most extreme fucking cravings that it's unreal. So the cravings are slowly dying off. But again, you know, I'm having headaches. I'm not noticing any worms in my stool. But man, sorry guys. So what they'll do because I'm starving them out is you won't shit because they're holding on to everything, you know, as it comes through your system. They're stopping you up and they're sucking everything they can, you know, out of that. They are feeding off of whatever you put in your mouth as long as possible. And again, I haven't had hunger in over a month. I don't know what it's been now, probably 6 weeks or so. I can't remember. But I've experienced no hunger in the past 6 weeks or so. It is literally just, when I want something, it's an extreme craving, again, for cooked food, meat, junk food, fast food. Of course, that's all the parasites talking. And then, you know, when I want the fruit or, you know, something healthy in that manner, raw carrots or whatever, it's my anxiety. Because guys, when, you know, you don't realize how much time during the day that we spend consuming food. You know, we don't realize that hours are spent consumption of food, because it's not just eating, it's preparing the food, it's thinking about the food, it's thinking about what you're going to have. You have to go to the grocery store, you have to cook, you have to clean dishes afterwards, you get tired, you got to sit down and relax and digest, guys. So, you know, you really don't understand how much time is spent in consumption until you stop consuming. But anyways, yeah, that's a quick update. And I'll be making more videos. A lot going on. I mean, a lot. You can see, I mean, I'm on a flat roof, but I'm only working about 6 hours a day. I can't do any more in this heat. This is hard manual labor, you know, and, you know, it's 90 outside on the ground in the middle of the day, and it gets, you know, I mean, I bet it's 90 up here already, and it's freaking 9 o'clock in the morning. So I get out here at like 6:30 in the morning and get started, so that way I can cut out around 12:30. But yeah, man, that's how it's going. Like I said, a lot going on. I'm processing a lot. I'm really working my way through these emotions because I'm tired of them having control over me. I want to regain control, like full control over my emotions. And not to say that there isn't justified anger, there isn't justified, you know, just emotion, any emotion that I have to run through my body. It's that way it doesn't sit in me and become, you know, cancerous, or, you know, a nodule or a cyst, or stop me, you know, and prohibit moving in my hips and things of that nature. So, you know, I'm just trying to get better control of my emotions, because I have been sitting in this for 1.5 years now, and you know, it's becoming, I'm starting to exhaust myself. And, you know, again, it all comes back to loving myself, and that is the most important thing. And by doing that, what I've noticed, guys, the most important thing for me to do in order to do that is my thoughts have to align with my words, which have to align with my actions as much as humanly possible. And at this moment, seeing how I'm still enslaved to a job in order to keep a roof over our heads and food in our bellies at the moment, etc. And, you know, lights on, shit like that. So, yeah, man, I'm still pulling away, still detaching from the 3D, still coming to terms with everything, still facing my trauma, still facing my fears, still facing myself. I'm just I'm getting to the point where I'm maturing in my healing. I'm maturing in what I want for my healing, which is peace. You know, I want inner peace. I don't want this inner turmoil. I don't want to be constantly bombarded with these things that set me off and trigger me. You know, that being said, that doesn't mean that I won't face anything. It just means that I want to have more control over myself. And now that I'm integrating and aligning my thoughts with my words, with my actions, that is becoming easier for me to do. And that is a relief, because I still deal with, you know, these other issues such as anxiety and things like that, that are still underlying from the trauma, but, you know, that I have to constantly be aware of and breathe through. So just, I guess what I'm saying is, constantly being aware of this stuff, it just takes a toll on you, you know, it's very taxing. So, you know, and of course the good diet and the fasting are I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without that. I would be in a mess right now if I was still dealing with parasites like I was a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, man, and one day at a time. Again, I'm not pushing anything. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not trying to set any records. I'm not, you know, trying to go, woohoo, look at me, look what I can do. No, this is about me and for me. And, you know, me doing these videos is just that way other people can see that these things are possible. It's possible to heal. It's possible to tell your story. It's possible to tell the truth. It's possible to live in truth. But in order to live in truth, you have to constantly, in this fucked up world, especially if you're in a slave job, if you have a slave job, if you're not, you know, fortunate where you can just, where you're not tied down like I am, then, you know, you are constantly bombarded, and constantly the world is trying to get you to, what's that word I'm looking for? The world is constantly trying to get you to submit to their authority or consent to the abuse. You know what I mean? And again, consenting to the abuse is just like, I can't let anything just slide past me, you know, that's why idle talk, I do not do idle talk. There is no idle talk in me. I do not gossip. I do not idle talk. I do not, you know, my words are for a reason. So that is extremely important, because idle talk, you know, idle hands are devil's playground, sort of, I guess you could say. But anyways, it's a long video. God, it's going to take all day for that to upload when I get home later.